A young girl buys a pair of cheap red cotton stockings. In response, her father beats her so brutally that she loses a tooth and goes permanently blind in one eye. In Emilia Pardo Bazán's 1914 story, Las Medias Rojas, this horrific violence isn't a random drunken outburst. Every blow is part of a calculated attempt to protect the only thing the father has left. To understand the rage, we have to look at 19th century rural Galicia. This was an environment defined by extreme, inescapable poverty, where the landscape offered beauty to the eye, but very little to the stomach. This is the harsh physical reality of our protagonist, Ildara. Her daily existence is a cycle of back-breaking, unpaid labor, carrying massive loads of firewood and prepping the fields for her father, Uncle Clodio. Bazán wrote this story as a work of naturalism, a literary movement focused on the idea that a person's life is entirely predetermined by their environment and their heredity. In this world, characters are effectively trapped by the conditions they were born into. When Ildara decides to buy those stockings, she isn't just choosing a piece of clothing. She is attempting to move against the weight of her entire environment, a choice that carries a deadly cost. The trap snaps shut when Ildara kneels to light the family fire. As she fans the flames, the movement of her wet, patched skirt reveals a shocking flash of bright red cotton hidden underneath. To Clodio, that red color is an alarm. It represents a world of consumerism and modernity that doesn't belong in his house. But more importantly, it is proof of hidden wealth. Ildara tries to deflect his suspicion with a lie, claiming she bought the stockings by selling eggs from her own hens to the local abbot. But Clodio knows the hens haven't been laying. The money actually came from a gancho, a middleman who specializes in recruiting young people to leave the country. This advance payment was for a ticket to the Americas. Ildara chased the dream of thousands, a shore where gold rolled in the streets. Now of age, she used this deal to bypass her father's legal authority, her one escape from servitude. Those stockings act as a physical ledger of a secret transaction, one that threatens to steal Clodio's most valuable asset, Ildara's labor. Clodio's fear isn't just about the money. He is an aging widower, and he knows that without Ildara to farm his leased plot of land, he will lose everything. His violence follows a cold transactional logic. He doesn't just want to punish her for the stockings. He needs to destroy her ability to leave. He hurls her against the wall and begins the assault. He is careful about where he hits, focusing his closed fist on her nose, her cheeks, and her eyes. Clodio knows the rules of the emigration ships. They only accept the healthy and the able-bodied. For women, the requirements are even more specific. They must have their teeth intact and their eyes bright. After the beating stops, Ildara crawls to a nearby stream to wash the blood from her face. She finds a single, youthful tooth sitting in the palm of her hand. A doctor later confirms the damage to her eye is a detached retina. She will be permanently blind on one side. Clodio's assault is a targeted strike. By destroying her vision and her teeth, he surgically dismantles her ticket to freedom, ensuring she remains on the farm as a permanent, unexportable laborer. The ship to the Americas eventually sets sail, but Ildara is not on it. The vessel only has room for the healthy, and she no longer fits the criteria. This is the core of the naturalist trap. Ildara's fate wasn't decided the moment she bought the stockings. It was set years earlier by the poverty of Galicia and the limitations placed on her gender. The story ends with a cold economic resolution. Clodio keeps his property, and Ildara is doomed to spend the rest of her life in the very fields she tried to escape. The vibrant symbol of her hope, those red stockings, is left abandoned in the mud, as dark and permanent as her disfigurement. Pardo Bazán uses this domestic tragedy to indict a much larger system, one where a woman's physical beauty and health were the only currency she had to buy her way out of poverty. Las Medias Rojas leaves us with a horrific paradox. The very act of trying to buy her freedom cost Ildara the body she needed to achieve it.